So obviously getting a draw here at Eastbourne on a day that was gale force winds throughout. Mark, you've said to me before that wind is probably one condition that spoils a game, but you must be pleased with the resolve you showed to come back and get a point, a deserved point at Eastbourne today.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for both teams, wasn't it? I mean, it is terrible conditions. I mean, 50-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, the ball rolling when you're trying to take goal kick. It's very difficult out there, and it spoils the game, as everybody knows. But we can't do anything about the conditions. When the game's played, you've got to get on with it, and you've got to try and do the best you possibly can. And I thought, first half against that extremely strong wind, we sort of limited Eastbourne to not that many opportunities, to be honest. The opportunities that we did prevent them were from our own silly mistakes, and that's something I've just said to the players. Sometimes it's not always about the team that's going to play the most football or the most bits of unbelievable quality. That we'll have our days where we play really well, of course we will, but usually the teams that will do well in this division are sometimes the teams that make the least mistakes, and sometimes we're just a little bit guilty of making stupid mistakes that give the opposition sort of opportunities to put us under pressure, and we've got to cut that out of our game if we want to be successful. I can't fault the boys' effort. Their application's been tremendous today. We're working hard to get points for ourselves and for the club. Can't fault the effort and the work rate, but just a little bit concerning. At times we do make stupid mistakes, and we've got to cut that out of our game. I won't talk about individual sort of players on the camera, but I'm sure you can sort of think about one or two opportunities that we presented them that I'm talking about. But good application, great attitudes on an extremely difficult day, mixed emotions, because we're sort of a little bit disappointed that second half, perhaps, did we sort of really drive the game home? Did we get round the back of them enough? Did we sort of do enough to win it? Probably questionable, but it's difficult when the ball's continually running away from you to get around the back of them. It's difficult, but could have gone either way. The game, maybe a draw, about right.
You mentioned the mistakes, but their goal came from totally wind assisted, a free kick, a cross from the left which evaded everybody. It was pure fluke. Your goal in the second half was a goal of pretty high quality. Zach McEachran looking really lively, scoring the goal, but a really good move down the left-hand side to get the equaliser.
No, it was a great goal, wasn't it, actually? Yeah, good move. I think it was 5 or 6 passes, a clever flick from Nana Owusu, and Jonesy was in, something that we were working on actually in training in terms of trying to overload the wide areas. And Jonesy showed really good composure because he travelled a long way into the box, and then he has to pick out the right pass, and he did, and Zach sort of was in there where it counted and finished it. So it was a great goal. And yes, their goal was just a sort of cross that's gone sailing in on the wind. I hope we're getting those ones out the way early in the season, because the same thing happened to us in Chippenham on Tuesday. A sort of overhit cross went sailing in, so maybe a little bit of bad luck. But it's always fine margins, isn't it? The lad from Eastbourne, if he gets his toe on that one in the last couple of minutes, we could actually lose the game. The one where their sort of keeper pats it down, on the line, if it drops to us, we might finish it. So it's always fine margins and little moments in games that define you winning or losing. But we've come away from home this week, Tuesday and Saturday, 2 away games. We haven't been beaten, which shows good character and good determination from the boys. We are slightly disappointed that maybe second half we couldn't do a little bit more with that win behind us and perhaps really test their keeper, a bit more. But having said that, last year we perhaps didn't get as many draws as we should have done. We hardly drew a game, and perhaps that cost us a few points. So you have to take, 2 away games. We haven't been beaten in either game, so we have to take the positives on that and try to really now see if we can perform well Tuesday at home to Hampton.
A word about Zach McEachran. Took a well-taken goal. Really pleasing to see him coming back from what was quite a long-term frustrating injury last year. I know you're easing him back in gently, but when he came on today, he made the difference, didn't he, in midfield?
Yeah, he did. He's a very good player, and I think maybe now, we've got to look to maybe give him his opportunity from the start, possibly. I mean, we have to look after him. I mean, he's such a key player for us, and he missed 6 months of the season last year. Even starting pre-season, he was still getting problems with his knee, so he hadn't been able to do really, I think he literally, like I said last week, hardly played pre-season at all. So, we have to sort of think, 8, 9, 10 months, not just sort of the first week of the season. It's only 3 games, and it would be silly to sort of put him in when he's not ready, and he wasn't ready to start games. I know people want to see Zach get Zach, and you know he's a popular player, but you know I've got to sort of look what I think's best for him as well. Obviously, he's a fit, firing Zach McEachran is a massive asset for any team, but he's now played, and you know I think since we managed to get him on, didn't we, against Concord? You know, we've now got him on for sort of half an hour on Tuesday, another half an hour today. So let's see what, you know, let's look to Tuesday and see what I decide to do with the team.
And just looking ahead to Tuesday, 2 good points on their own, but still looking for your first win.
Yeah.
Hampton and Richmond on Tuesday evening, back in front of your own supporters. Hopefully less wind around. The sooner you get this first win, the better to sort of build the confidence and set the season up.
I think that's right. You know, we're really searching for that first win now. Tuesday was always going to be an important game anyway, but perhaps does it take on a little bit more sort of importance now that we're looking for that first win, particularly at home? I think we disappointed our home supporters in our last game against Concord last Saturday. So we need to sort of give a real good home performance on Tuesday. Try to take the positives from these hard-fought points that we've got in our 2 last away games, and you know, keep working. You know, we're literally on August the 10th, aren't we? You know, and it feels a lot longer than that, just after 3 games this week. But there'll be teams in our league that have been beaten again today. I think, you know, with the terrible conditions here today, and I do think Eastbourne will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. They've got an experienced manager, you know, they've got experienced players in their team, and they're not a bad team. They got an unfortunate defeat against Billericay on the opening day away in the last minute. They won here sort of comfortably on Tuesday against Tonbridge, and obviously they've got a point against us, so I do think they'll be sort of there or thereabouts. So while there's a few of the lads that are a little bit disappointed in that changing room, and I can sort of see where they're coming from, I think we have to sort of say a point away from home in these types of conditions against a good Eastbourne team isn't a bad result, but now we are really searching for that first win, like you say, Tuesday at home.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mark. Good luck on Tuesday.
Thank you.